The two delegates I now have the pleasure to introduce to you come from the privileged part of the world. Democracies, rich countries, solid, robust welfare systems. And yet they both feel that human rights need to be watered, taken care of, and, you know, we tend to take them for granted when we live in Europe or indeed in this country. And it's not true. Nothing is ever to be taken for granted. They both have understood that and are engaged into reaffirming, strengthening human rights. Carolina Bonin comes from Berlin. She works for Nokia. She invents all sorts of devices to help machines talk to humans and vice versa, but she's mostly concerned about us humans being able to talk to each other. And Simon Rodgers comes from York in England. He's engaged in LGBTQI issues as a gay man. He will tell you more about that. And what I found particularly interesting about him is that he ran for elections in York. He was not elected, but he found it a very rewarding experience. And I think, as you said in Peru, it's very important for you young people to get engaged into government, because it's one thing to say bad things about politicians, but we need them. And we need them for our democracies. So please welcome Caroline and Simon together.
Hello, one young world.
And we just want to start by saying it's an enormous privilege to be stood here in front of you today. So without further ado, over to you, Carolina.
Thank you. Life for us is like those balloons that I brought with me. It's a symbol of happiness and fulfillment. And when I look at each of you, at Simon, at myself, I really wish that all our lives would be like it. But when I look at society nowadays, this is what I see. Many people are still being hurt because of discrimination, especially homosexuals. And I ask myself, why some people need to take the air out of others if their own balloons are full? Shouldn't two balloons be better than only one? Shouldn't we all have the same right to live and be happy? Of course, there are countries nowadays, like Germany, where I live, where people accept gays as just as normal as the others. In my company, for example, Nokia, we have the space to create an LGBT group for gays, lesbians, transgenders, bisexuals, and this helped us to raise its corporate equality index for human rights from 70 to 100%, showing that Nokia is a great place to work in terms of diversity and equality. Our group there is also open for everyone, gay or straight, and this helps us to build a supportive mindset regarding the rights that every person should have. But even in Germany, people still discuss if gay people should have the right to marry, to adopt children, and I ask again, why should we discuss about something that is already a basic right for others? Simon.
Thank you. We hear terrible stories from all over the world of different human rights violations, and one that really resonates with me is that of David Kato. David was a Ugandan gay rights activist, and he actually came over to the UK to study at the University of York in the city where I live and work. Now, it wasn't long after David returned to Uganda that he was brutally murdered. He was murdered because of who he is. He was murdered because he was gay. It's absolutely terrible, and what really upsets me is that I know people in York who were really good friends with David when he spent time there. But despite all of this, earlier this year, a group of Ugandans held a gay pride event. It was absolutely amazing to see, and one of the images that really resonated with me, it was so iconic. It was someone wearing a t-shirt that was from an organisation called Stonewall, a UK-based charity who now work across the world to support LGBT people. That t-shirt said, "Some people are gay, get over it." And I'm enormously proud to be wearing one of those t-shirts in front of you all today. Thank you. And I will take that applause to salute the people across the world that are standing up for their rights, and I salute them who risk everything they have and everything they are to secure the most basic human rights. It's still illegal to be gay in 77 out of 190 countries around the world. Half of those countries are members of the Commonwealth of Nations. But even still, in nations where we have strong LGBT legislation, we find that LGBT people are still being mistreated. I work for Aviva, and one of the charities that we support is the Albert Kennedy Trust. The Albert Kennedy Trust exists to support homeless young people that identify as LGBT who have been made homeless because they've come out to their parents and they're being mistreated by their families. It isn't just a UK thing. I'm going to share with you an example from the US. I'm going to read a letter that was written by a father to his son when his son told him he was gay. The father writes, "This is a difficult but necessary letter to write. I hope your telephone call was not to receive my blessing for the degrading of your lifestyle. I have fond memories of our times together, but that is all in the past. Don't expect any further conversations with me, none at all. I will not come to visit, nor do I want you in my house. You made your choice, though wrong it may be. God did not intend for this unnatural lifestyle. If you choose not to attend my funeral, my friends and family will understand. Have a good birthday and a good life. No present exchanges will be accepted. Goodbye, Dad." Now I said that was written here in the US. That was written here in Pennsylvania, in the state where we stand and sit today. I just can't imagine being disowned by my family, by the people that brought me into this world, and by the people who I love. That's why, One Young World, we have a duty to our future generations, and we have a duty to those most needy. And all too often it's the LGBT community, the young LGBT community in this world, that need our help the most.
Today, we need a new global mindset to be born. We need everybody in society to truly believe with their hearts that everyone has the right to be happy. This is a question of basic values, and we truly believe that not only the minorities should stand for themselves, like in Uganda, but that governments have the responsibility to create this new mindset. It is a question of creating the love of understanding that every person has the same right to live in happiness. And how can we start with it? What about if you wish something or a right to your own, also wish that for the person next to you? It is actually that simple. So we as ambassadors, we would like to ask each one of you here today and the governments listening to us to first of all remind their people to stand for themselves, to respect and wish the best for the ones next to you, and to help our society to create laws that give the very same right to every single person, not more, not less.
And in countries like the UK and Germany, we're still fighting for marriage equality. That's marriage equality. That's not gay marriage, that is equal marriage. But as our focus in these nations move away from the direct activism that was once needed to create step change in legislation, we have to focus on changing the hearts, minds and perceptions of the wider population in their attitudes towards LGBT people across the world. In countries like the UK and Germany, it's within our gift to share the lessons that we've learned with other nations as they embark on their LGBT equality journey. We want to add our voices today to the number of people around the world calling on the Commonwealth of Nations to join together and abolish anti-gay legislation across all member states. If we can prove that the Commonwealth of Nations can do that, that can prove the value of this intergovernmental organisation, we can show other nations that they can achieve the same thing as well. We're calling on you, One Young World ambassadors and delegates, to join with us as our allies, regardless of your own sexual orientation. It's within our gift to make the lives of LGBT people better around the world. We're calling on you to join with us, because we have to abolish anti-gay laws around the world. We have to change hearts, minds and perceptions, and we have to come together to say, some people are gay, get over it. Thank you.